messy blog moments. So we back again, y'all. It's third time. Yeah, third time around. It's the third time around, and your boy Paul is back. So let's get into the mess that just came through, baby. And I said it's a little juicy, juicy. I said we got first up, we got Akon. So apparently, after 28 years of marriage, the wife he is legally married to, baby, they done filed. Apparently filed for divorce the day before the anniversary. Ooh, that's some messy stuff right there. So apparently, yes, I said, "Oh, now that's some crazy stuff." Mm-mm-mm. Not right before the anniversary day. Been married since 1996. I said, "Oh," and he out here having multiple wives. And the main wife is finally they have together. They have a 17-year-old child. I want to say was it a son? Oh, it's either a son or a girl. I want to say it was a son. I'm not, but I know the child is 17. They have a child together. They're 17. And, in the file document said that she said that there was unreconciled differences. She want joint, she wanted joint custody. Also, she want joint custody, spousal support, and she don't want him to be allowed to ask for spousal support. I said, ooh, I said, what's the tea? What is the tea here? Because I said if she don't want to, she don't want the judge to, she wants the judge to grant him not to get spousal support. I said, oh, that's deep. That means there's something going on in that situation. Unreconciled differences in my ass. Shoot, I want to know what's going on because she trying to make sure he gets nothing. She want that alimony because she was with you for 28 years. Shoot, you might as well say a good 30. Shoot, he been out here doing whatever he wants. I'm so silly. But hopefully everything works out for her. Good luck in that situation, girl. Good luck. I hope you build some businesses while you was in this. You was in there for 28 years. You didn't build something if you don't want him to get spousal support. Or you want the judge to block him. But let me know how y'all feel about it. But let's get into the next stuff. So we got Utah's governor who did a press conference about this whole entire Charles Kirk situation. This man, I said, what is going on in Utah? This man said he cried. He said he cried. I was so emotional. I prayed and everything for them to catch this man, the suspect. I just can't believe it. And he said I was praying that it was somebody who wasn't from some. I was praying it was a foreign. Excuse me, and not somebody from the United States. I said what? Hold on. Wait a minute. What am I hearing? I said, oh, y'all I want to put y'all, the whole, Utah in that whole bracket. But they voted for you as their governor. And it makes me think that, oh, they think just like you. Because why would you even be praying for it to be an immigrant? Because most likely it would have been somebody who's Caucasian that was going to take him out. So yeah, I'm a little confused with this whole situation. I said, this man, this the governor y'all picked for Utah, and I said he speaks like this, and he was wishing that it was a foreigner instead of a U.S. citizen that took this man out. I said that's some psychological stuff. That man don't need to be in that position. And I see why you said you wanted that person who took that man out the death penalty. This is personal to you. What kind of relationship did you have with Charles? I'm just saying. Let me know. Let's move on to the next. Let's get into Chrisean. So Chrisean's sister, her big sister, came out to let us know, tell us a little tea, because the family situation is getting deeper and deeper. Because Chrisean ended up doing on her, she did on her live, separate live. She was out somewhere at some, looked like she was at some upscale restaurant, and she looked this like she was straight from the hood in there talking, all type of. I said, girl, this is don't look right. But she telling like, about the situation, whatever. But the sister came back and let us know, seeing, telling us a little tea on her sister. On Chrisean, and said, Chrisean, girl, when you was in labor, girl, the doctor tried to get you to get a C-section because you had uh chlamydia, and they didn't want you to have that baby the natural way because your hoo-ha was infected. And you refused to do it. Your mother instinct never kicked in. I said, ooh, baby girl, ooh, your sister, I can't do nothing with that. That's what the dog. She telling all your teeth. It's like, girl, chlamydia. You had you had chlamydia, girl. Straight up. Ooh. And you literally push that baby out. So that baby, ooh. And the sister even told us that the baby does have special needs. I said, no offense to Chrisean Jr., you can tell the baby has special needs. It's not his fault, but you can kind of tell that. But we kind of knew, but thank you for confirming. And then she pushed that baby out. I hope that baby ain't get nothing. That could. This family is a mess. And I said, this is just the beginning. Because the sister was like, because I think Chrisean is attacking her sister children now. So sister came back and she's spilling tea. She's spilling tea. I said, girl, not your big sister came in and spilling on you personally about when you was in labor. Your mother instincts never kicked in. And I don't think they have kicked in yet. They haven't kicked in yet, but it's a learning curve. Hopefully. No, and they may never kick in. I ain't gonna even lie, they may never kick in. But it seemed like to me that this sister may have been the best sister to take care of your child. That's just from looking from the inside out. And because the sister said you made an incident, that incident that just happened, you flipped the script and made it seem like the sister was supposed to, she was doing a ransom kidnapping of the child, and the sister said that wasn't what that was. You didn't want to come get your child when I told you to come get your child. So I had to call. I had to call family services and stuff like that to get them all involved because no, I'm not about to sit here and watch. No, that ain't how this works. I said, but that's what she was saying. Let me know what y'all feel about it. But I said this gonna get deeper and deeper because I said these two sisters gonna go at it, just like her other sister, the one that be knock people out. But y'all let me know how y'all feel. But let's move on to the next, and we got Angel Reese. So a former WNBA player. I never got her name. That lady, she's right up here above me. Wanted Angel Reese to give her teammates $100K to because she'd been acting up on the court and stuff like that, saying that that may help in the situation. I said, girl, you ain't giving none of your teammates that money when you was in the industry doing what you was doing on the court. So why should she have to do that? Girl, it sounds like jealousy to me. Jealousy. It ain't her fault. She out here making big moves. Her mentor is Shaquille O'Neal, so she's learning from the best, and that's the man that always make money. So it's what it is. But let me know how you feel about it. But let's move on to my last topic. And let's get into the Breakfast Club. They had the ladies, the queens of Queens Tour. On the Queens Tour, that is Miss Stephanie Mills, Miss Patti LaBelle, and that's the one and only Miss Shaka. Ah, baby, they was on the Breakfast Club just chit-chatting away as good girlfriends do, and stuff like that, telling stuff that went on in their careers and stuff. And they talked about I didn't know that Stephanie Mill actually had a nose job. I knew Patti LaBelle did. Because I see old clips of Patty old nose, you know, and her nose was fine. I seen and I actually did see a clip of Stephanie Meal old nose, regular nose and stuff. I said they nose was fine, but if that's what you have to do for yourself to make you feel better about yourself, cool. Stephanie Mill said what made her get her nose job was Michael Jackson. She said once Michael Jackson got his, that made her go get hers. She said also, Patty said, yeah, Patty won. She got hers because of Stephanie. Because she said Stephanie ended up telling her and Stephanie both told that Stephanie went over her house for dinner and she seen that, something was new on her. Stephanie went, yeah, girl, I got a new nose, girl. See? So she went, yeah, I want to get so Patty ended up getting her nose done and stuff. And it's what it is. So they asked the one and only Miss Shaka, what about how she had in such right now? Hell no. Everything that's on me. She went, what about a BBL? She went, what's that? Oh hell no, I ain't had no BBL. It's the same ass that you see right now was the ass I was born with. I love you, Shaka. Shaka said, I ain't changing nothing. Ain't nothing on here been changed since I was born. I ain't into that. Because they talked about during the 80s. Patty and Stephanie talked about during the 80s when that time your looks were really something that people really had an issue, certain people had an issue with, and they wanted them to change this and that. Nowadays people get BBLs, all that stuff, plastic surgery like it's candy. Back then you did it because of your image more than now. Now it's just a cosmetics type of thing for most people. You just want to change what you want to change. And I said whoever did their work did a great job. And I said, because I would have never known if Stephanie Mills wouldn't have said that she had one. Because I said, baby, it's what it is. But that's all that I got for y'all today. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, and join the channel. And I will get back at y'all later. Bye, y'all.